Yeah. So interestingly, I was at General Mills as I've mentioned to you, and then I went to a startup, and I was there for about 2 years, doing different roles. But I learned a completely different set of skills, and it wasn't obvious to me that at General Mills I kind of just did what they told me to do, right? Went with the process, went with the systems. I took everything and said, yes, so I will do it that way. After I went back to General Mills, after that 2 year hiatus when I was a part of the startup world, I went back a different type of leader. I went back and I thought, well, wait a minute. What would it look like if we did it that way? Or why do we do it this way? And I think, hopefully it was done in a way that was honoring those of the past and the systems and the great leadership we had had until that point, but also challenging the status quo in a way that could drive growth and bring us into the new era. So I think that was the moment where I thought, gosh, I bet there's not a lot of companies that understand the value of changing, of being willing to look beyond, the process and the systems and everything that's come before us. Not to say that that wasn't valuable or is no longer appreciated, but how can we remold it, reshape it, etc., as we move into the future? Yeah, thank you. Well, I started right out of college actually, and I really had a great beginning of my career. I was surrounded by incredibly intelligent folks and wonderful brands. I think my very favorite assignment was working on the Box Tops for Education brand. Do you remember Box Tops? No, okay. So, your wife may remember, or even if you ask some of the women around you, it typically was led by women, and moms that were helping to bolster their schools. And basic premise of it was that you would, do you remember it now, you'd cut the box top off, send it in, and then money would be given to the school. So on average, schools earned about $2,400 a year at the time I was working on it. So they would do things like buy technology or pay for an aide to be in the classroom for a teacher, things like that. Anyway, um, I just was incredibly, I would say, honored to be a part of a program that was helping kids. But also, it was a way for me to see how powerful the network of um, and again I'm going to say moms and women, but there of course were lots of dads and men, but how motivated they were to make a change, and that motivation led them to support the brands at General Mills, and it was just a very very fun brand. um, I think some of the things that I learned at General Mills, honestly, I use on a daily basis. But the core of my character and my, perhaps it's kind of my ethos, my confidence, being a woman in a corporate setting. I think, I was the only woman in a lot of boardrooms. And so, there comes with that an understanding or a kind of an education on what it's like to be different, and proving myself and knowing my worth and things like that. And so as I have become an entrepreneur and now a business coach, it has helped me because I think I don't take it for granted, but I oftentimes, um, I know that I'm one of one of few women that does what I do and has had the experiences that I've had, and I'm very very grateful for all of that. Yes. Oh, I know. Yeah, it may seem like a silly swap, but it sure was fun, and the restaurant's still going actually, and we'll celebrate our 10-year anniversary. Um, and believe it or not, I carried on my family's legacy, and that's why I did it. I wanted to, um, really continue to serve the food that my family has been serving since 1974. So I am a third generation, my grandparents, my parents, and now myself, bringing this concept to life. I've done it a little bit differently, but we have one restaurant right now in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, and we'll be franchising now. So kind of fun. And I was able to use a lot of the things that I did at General Mills to build a brand, to build a business, to lead folks, to inspire change. And so hopefully, that business will continue to thrive. I operate it in a way where I have a team that does the day to day so that I'm able to coach other businesses. But it certainly is a very, again, heartfelt kind of labor of love for me to carry on my family's legacy. And I love eating there. So yeah. Well, I would say the first principle is having a great team. I think, you as an owner, as a law firm owner like yourself, as a restaurant owner, whatever the case is, your efforts can only go so far, right? I mean, you can't do everything at a certain point, and so you have to be able to transfer that ownership, that empowerment onto your team. And so, the way I like to say, I did at General Mills, and I do to this day for my coaching clients. If we can serve our team and our team can serve our clients, now our message, our vision, our kind of philosophies are amplified in a way that's exponential. And so it doesn't matter whether you're, in a role in an organization like a General Mills where there's thousands of people, or you're a part of a law firm where there's hundreds. It's truly the ability to pass on the messages in a way that communicates it clearly. These are my expectations as the owner, and then having people held accountable for those and have them feel like they are a part of it. They understand the why. They can then take it forward and bring it to life. Mhm. Yeah. Well, I'll start with the question of creativity first, and then I'll move into accountability. I would say the number one risk for creativity is a fear of failure. And so if organizations fear, or I should say, if the people in an organization are afraid that if they bring a new idea forth or if they do something different, they will lose their job, lose their income, they will be ostracized, cast aside. I mean, these are very emotional, very deep fears that people have. And so the converse of that is, of course, when they feel their leadership will support them. Sure, you may fail. This idea might not work, but you're safe here, right? We want you to test things. We want to have new models. If it works, great, you found a new path. If it doesn't work, great, you found a way it won't work, right? It's that type of comfort that people have to have in order to step outside of the norm and to challenge the conventional kind of systems, processes, all those sorts of things. So, as an owner and as a coach, I am hoping to create a culture which allows for creative problem solving. And I mean that in every sense of the organization, every sense of the business. It is not just the product or the service. It is the way you conduct meetings, the way you talk to your team, the way you are incentivizing your groups, your people. It is every single area of the business, and all of those small changes add up to very large difference in the business. So that is how I talk about and help people with their creativity. Accountability is a little different. Do you want me to pause for a minute, Chris, or do you want to? Okay, yeah. So we have to inspect what we expect, right? And so I would say the first step is clearly defining what we expect. All right, intake leader, we want to make sure that you're bringing in, this many cases. Okay, paralegals, we want to make sure that our clients have heard from you within this amount of time. I mean, it's little itty bitty pieces. How can we measure people and have them meet our expectations if we've not clearly defined those expectations? So that's step number one. Once we've defined them, The second step is getting agreement and empowerment. If I'm trying to influence you to do something, I need you to say, yes, I will do that. So there's this moment of influence that I'm trying to show you, Chris, this is how you impact the overall business. This is the piece you own and can lead forward. And so there's that grabbing of the reins by the employee, by the leader that is doing work on behalf of the company or the owner. Um, so, first, articulated goals. Second, the person has said, yes, I would like to do that and I will do that. And then the third is measurement. And so, we have to actually be able to see that someone is doing what they said they will do. So, we've got to have something in place. I like when the person is measuring it, going into the system, pulling out the metrics and showing the owner, look at what I did. This is something I'm so proud of. You wanted 12, I got 13. And so now we actually have the accountability wheel turning. Um, the other thing with accountability that I will mention is that people are either motivated by a carrot or a stick. And by that, I mean, they either need something dangled, right? They need, some sort of an incentive or some sort of a motivator. It might be a day off. It might be a jeans day on Thursdays or whatever. I'm making all this up, but giving them something. If you cross the threshold on this goal, you get this. Conversely, on the stick side, people are often, as I said, one or the other. And some people are not motivated unless they know that there is a consequence on the other end. If I don't get 12, I will be fired. If I don't get 12, my boss is going to talk to me, or I'm going to have a bigger load next month. So there are different things that can happen, but we've got to actually um, follow through with those. So. Yeah. Well, um, ultimate goal for us is to get our clients up and to the right. So that's our tagline, up and to the right. And by that, I mean taking them in a consistent and upward momentum fashion, right? It's not an overnight light switch. It doesn't happen easily, oftentimes. And we make no assumptions on what our clients need or want. So we get in, we get to know them, we understand what their goals are, and we take them from where they are to where they want to get to, up and to the right. It might be revenue, it might be profit, it might be better retention, it might be better productivity. It could be that they want better balance for themselves so that they can be a part of their family's lives. It could also be a succession plan where they are hoping to scale back and they're going to leave the business or sell the business over time. So any number of places that they want to get to, and we help them incrementally find a path toward that. So we set up a system. We are, I would say, a boutique coaching firm where we really surround our clients, get to know them, and then help them towards that. Um, it is really quite fun. I mean, over the course of the last, boy, it's more than 3 years now, our Point Northeast team has made amazing progress with our clients. We have generated some of the most impressive results of revenue, profit, partnership transitions. It's just been a real joy. I think maybe my very favorite one is when a client went over the summer, took a 3-week vacation with his family. And he sent us a video of he and his family sailing off the coast of the south of France. And he said, I have never been able to step outside of my law firm, take time off, and actually be present with my family. The work that your team has done to support the firm and all the things, nobody needed me. There were no crises when I returned. It was as if I was there, but I wasn't. I was sailing. So it was pretty special. And those are the goosebump moments that I get where it's like, we've done our job. We've helped this person build a better life. Yeah. You know, Oftentimes we get too close to things and we can't see beyond our nose. And so I would say when you bring in someone from the outside, you have said, I need outside perspective. And I think that's a really valuable component. I think it's really amazing when people have the humility to say, you know what? I don't think I know everything. I'd love to have someone come in and take a glance and help me to, continue growing, continue scaling, whatever the goals are. Um, I find that the people who are willing to say, I don't know everything. I probably don't even know where the, dust bunnies are in my business or the trap doors, that could lead to problems. And so having outside perspective, I think having a coach, having, someone come in, even if it's a new employee that comes in with fresh eyes, they're going to bring some really valuable insights. They may be coming from inside the industry or not, but they're going to come in and say, well, wait a minute, why do we do it that way? That's what you want. You want them continually improving your business, bringing new ideas. Yeah, I mean, we have the chance for rebirth every single day. I think people have a good emphasis on that rebirth at the first of the year. And so we sit here at the beginning of 2025 and we wonder, gosh, what will the year bring, right? And as business owners, we hope it will bring lots of good things, some fun, some, I would say fulfillment is probably on my list. But, um, my advice in someone's journey is probably allowing themselves to see kind of um, whether they are enjoying what they're doing. So at the kind of onset of any engagement, we oftentimes will say to the owners, especially, you need to be doing the things that you like and are best at, because otherwise you're just going through the motions. But if you like it and you're enjoying it and you get to wake up every day, you kick off the sheets, going to work, energized, I mean, that's when you're really doing your best work for whatever business it is. Um, and so, again, start at the top, make sure that the team is doing the things that they love and are the best at. And eventually you'll have a culture that is turned on, not turned off. People will not go as robots. They will go as fired up employees that are ready to make a difference today. Yeah. Well, I don't have anything formal that I can point to, Chris. I mean, I'm kind of I would say I'm an everything person. I really and truly, I love learning. I love learning about different cultures and different, sections of spirituality or religions or things like that. But, I think the biggest grounding moment for me in my entire life was losing my mom. And so, I think that's a part of my story that has helped guide me. So I'll just tell you briefly. My mom was diagnosed with brain cancer and died at the age of 52. And I was 25. I was at General Mills. Obviously, just a tragic moment in my life. But the learning that came out of it, I would say every day is a gift. And every year that we have in our business and with our people and with our kids is so incredibly valuable. And so if I think I look back at my career evolution and I think, I always have been in the game of helping people to be the best that they can be. And I think it's because, I really and truly, I have some business acumen and some energy and some passion on this innovation thing, and I can help people. And if I can help people to navigate their personal and business world to get the most out of their lives, that is my passion. Yeah. Oh, that's great. And actually, I'm glad you brought that up because there's a big event coming up this spring. It's April 24th and 25th, and it's in Orlando. And it's going to be an incredible event. It's actually our first ever seven-figure summit that's 2 days. It's actually kind of a day and a half. So, the background here, Craig Goldenfarb is an attorney in Southern Florida and has actually been a client of mine. I've been working with him and his executive team for about 7 years. He has been doing the seven figure attorney summit for many, many years. And it occurred to us that we could add another day. And the second day is the day that my team will be managing and kind of facilitating. But let me ask you this way: have you ever sat in a summit and you get so much content, it's almost like drinking from a fire hose? So we thought, wouldn't it be great as a business owner, as a law firm owner, if you were able to bring a couple of folks from your team and everybody hears Craig and his team's messages together? And then the second day, you actually make an action plan of the biggest priorities and the ideas that you heard the day prior. How can you make them actionable with your team? So now day two will be to take everything you've learned from day one, all these ideas, all these great systems and tools, and make a game plan. So you actually leave the summit with the plan. Right. Yeah. Well, the very first thing that we'll do a little differently is that, we're hoping folks bring their team. There are lots of tremendous, solo attorneys out there. So the idea here would be that a business owner, a law firm owner, would come with their team. Chances are they at least have one member of their team. And the problem in the past has been, as a business owner, that you're sitting in the conference and you're writing things down and you've got all sorts of ideas and you have no one to give them to. Or your COO or whoever's back in your office, right, dreads the day you come back from these summits because they're like, oh, great. So and so is going to come back with this laundry list. So now we have a plan for that. I think the seven figure attorney summit this year will be the most powerful it's ever been for people to learn from one of the best and to take those inspiration points, those ideas, and create actionable tools that they can bring back to the firm. So I think we've got the magic formula this year. I'm quite excited. One of the things that I often tell business owners is that in the first part of their journey, they likely have been a slave to their business. They have been working and toiling and giving their blood, sweat, and tears to their business, right? And at some point, it needs to be like any relationship where there's a two-way street. They're giving their best to their business, but their business needs to give back to them. And that's either in monetary or in legacy or fulfillment type qualities. And so I really want to make sure that business owners at some point are getting what they are owed from their business. And I think that doesn't happen overnight, but it comes with, a lot of good hard work to set up the foundation. And again, there's no judgment on what that is. For some, it is monetary, right? They've put in a lot of work and they deserve to be paid. For some, it's that the business will go into the future successful and serving the folks that they intended. So I really enjoy that part of it. And I really enjoy helping business owners to realize that potential from their business. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think having that outside perspective can help in any area of our life. I would say coaches bring an outside perspective, and oftentimes they are experts in the area where we need help. So I find it to be incredibly valuable. Chris, it was an honor to be on. And again, apologies for my cold, but um, I really appreciate it. And I look forward to 2025. And I'm very excited to be a part of your journey.